build. Look at that. Just immediately. I mean, alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Elden Ring video. As you can see here, we are at the Elden Throne. I've actually beat the game, so I'm not going to show you anything else. But we're going to talk about the build that I used to beat the game. I actually stopped here at level 150, you can see, and this is going to be specifically a build that focuses on Arcane. As you can see, my level Arcane is 48 with the mask. It's 41 without the mask. And I have pretty much, like I said, stopped at 150 just for PvP reasons and invasions and stuff. I heard that's a good level to stop at. But we're going to go over the weapons, and a lot of the times you'll see these builds that they really don't show you what to use in the beginning. So I'm going to show you the beginning stages of the weapons that I recommend, kind of the middle of the game, and then what weapons and setup I actually used to beat the game. So let's get into the details. All right, and like I said, this build is actually going to focus specifically on like blood loss and also for our incantations. I could show you here. We are running incantations, and I'm going to go over those as well. So we're first going to start with the weapons, and secondly get into the incantations that I recommend running alongside this. So it's kind of like a blood loss, arcane, dragon build. So this, like I said, has carried me all throughout the game, and I'm going to show you everything that I recommend. So first off, in the beginning, I just recommend having the basic Uchigatana. As you can see, obviously mine's a lot higher, but this is what I started with here. And I recommend using the Bloody Slash Ash of War on it. As you can see, just Bloody Slash. In the beginning of the game, this thing is just insane for blood loss. It's really, really good. I recommend that. And then what I also did is eventually I was able to unlock the second katana, the Nagakiba. So I would dual wield these. So I really like this setup here. I would actually swap these out. As you can see, the Nagakiba is a lot longer, so I'd put the Bloody Slash on that, and then I would put the Uchigatana in my left hand instead, and then just dual wield these, and then you could still use the Bloody Slash as well. So that's kind of what I did once I unlocked that. So I really like this setup here. It's fun to use, really, really deadly. Another thing that you could do, set up here, I recommend this one. I really, really like this. And I'm going to show this on enemies after we kind of go over everything, is Elenoras Poleblade is absolutely insane. I absolutely love this weapon. It's probably one of my favorite weapons. Very effective against most enemies. Has a really cool Ash of War skill there, and then you could actually do it twice. So that's the first part, and then there's a second part, which kind of gives a last hit on the guy and gets you out of the way. Once again, there's that. And that's kind of mid-game there. So that would be, like I said, mid-game you have to do a quest to get this. And you will also get the Rivers of Blood Katana. I mean the Nagakiba from that. So it's kind of a 2-for-1. So I would mix those. And what's also nice is you could throw a basic entry-level beginning of the game Twinblade on that as well. So you could dual wield these, and these are really powerful. Dual wield twin blades, and then you still get this really awesome Ash of War when you want to put that away. So it gets really nice, powerful jump attacks on guys. I really like dual wielding these. Really fun and effective. So that's what I was using more mid game, and then later on, I highly recommend this setup. It's kind of absolutely insane depending on what direction you want to go, but you want to run the Godskin Peeler. So I would run this, would be my ultimate setup. This is more mid to late game. And what I would do is, I'm not sure if I have it active on this Godskin Peeler. I don't have it active. I have a different Ash of War on this, but I would clear this real quick. And I will show you, I highly recommend doing the Sepuku Ash of War on this right now. Let me switch it out for you real quick. And Occult scaling. So what I would do is before I go into a boss fight, I'd left hand this. I'd Sepuku myself. And then I would pull my Twinblade out and jump attack. Do a lot of jump attacks with this. This was really, really fun. Really, really effective. I absolutely love this setup. Like I said, I use this a lot mid to late game, specifically doing the Sepuku right before I go into a boss fight, I would just do that. Really, really effective. Awesome to use. On a side note, this is one of the kind of a bit different setup here. I love doing this, but I would use these dual spears here. And this is for certain situations, for certain bosses. And what I would recommend, once again, you're having the option of Occult scaling these, which is using your level on your Arcane. But I would run Bloodhound Step Occult scaling. So if you look at Cold versus Occult scaling, look how much higher the physical damage output is. Insane. So I would highly recommend that. Let's put Bloodhound Step on this one as well. And then we're going to show these in action a little while here. So what's nice about these double spears give you some serious range, and L1 will allow you to kind of have some really good reach with 2 at once. Keep in mind, not all spears are the same, but this Bloodhound Step allows you to get in, stab, and get back out. Get in, stab a guy, back out really quick. Really, really nice when you have really aggressive enemies and you can't heal, and you got to get away to pop some heals off. You can just Bloodhound Step out of there. So this was definitely situational on some bosses. I would have to use this, and I really, really like this setup. Now we're getting into more late game. Once again, this carried me all the way to late game. It is the Rivers of Blood Katana. I use this to beat the very last boss, and it is just, it's too good. It's so good. Amazing art. Right, I mean, just so good. And like I said, this carried me out all the way until late game. Out of FP. So that was my setup there. Now, on to the offhand. I ran no shield, and I ran the Dragon Communion seal. As you can see at the bottom, the passive effects boost Dragon Communion incantations. So I really, really like this. For some bosses, I'll explain why I use certain things. But let's pop some HP just so I can show you. This was my long-range tool. So when there's guys maybe down on a ledge and I want to take a couple guys out before I drop down, I have this in my hand. You can charge it, or you can just throw it. The difference is bigger ball of fire. So you can chuck this thing pretty far. I really, really like that. Now this is Flame Grant Me Strength. I believe it's a 20% increase in physical damage for 10 seconds. So I'd pop that before I were to fight a really, really strong boss. I actually did that before I fought the main boss. And then this is my go-to. I absolutely love this. This is more later game. The Swarm of Flies. This thing just causes some insane blood loss. These track people really, really well. Really, really nice when you have a less aggressive boss and you can kind of create some room and hit them with that. And it will track them and really, really do some good blood proc on them. So I love these things. I mean, this is probably one of the best incantations in the game, in my opinion. Now, onto the dragon spells. Now, these are definitely here for a specific reason. I'll explain. This one here is for rot specifically. Some people and bosses are really, really just weak to rot. Like Margit, he is really weak to rot. I killed him so fast with this. But you can jump up and call these out and just spray. And I mean, it's amazing. It's so good. But the reason you have a variety here, and what's nice about the dragon spells, is that you have rot, you have mist, which is cold, you have fire, you have glintstone magic flame, and you also, I don't have on here, but you have magma. And oh my gosh, you have so many options. So some bosses are weak. You can use the glintstone breath if they're weak to magic. And just spam out on them. You can use, once again, fire. If they're weak to fire, throw the fire breath out. There's so many possibilities, which is really, really nice. And let me explain these a bit more. Is that there's two different types. So as you defeat dragons, there's a lower tier and there's an above tier. So you can see right here, there is a dragon fire breath, and then the actual boss itself, Aegil's Flame, is going to be a better version. Same thing. I don't think I have the other ones a lot. Oh, right here, Rotten Breath. The upgraded version is the Ezekiel's Decay. So that one is better. But the only difference is, and I want to make sure you guys understand this, is the lower versions can be cast by horseback. These ones cannot be cast by horseback, the ones with the name. cannot be. So keep that in mind when you're choosing these. So as you can see, I have 2 in my inventory. I like to use this Rot Breath from horseback, and then this one against the main bosses. That's the only difference. So I just wanted to explain that. Now when it comes to talismans, my talismans are geared more towards, this one's for blood loss. This one's for green turtle talisman. This is for the increased stamina that you're going to need just from spamming a lot of attacks. This one raises my stamina and my HP. This one here, if you're running the dual twin blades and you're jumping a lot, this is really, really good. It enhances your jump attacks. I really, really like that. In some areas, I was also around a lot of people that I could get a lot of critical attacks on. I forget which one it is, but one of these, I believe it's this one, where critical attacks, lowers FP consumed by skill. So if I was using a lot more magic, I would put this one on. If I was calling in a lot of the Dragon Breath and different types of FP consuming things, I would use this more. This is what I was talking about here. I like these two. You could pick whatever one you need, depending on the situation. But in some areas, you're just getting tons of backstabs and critical hits. These are nice. You put these on, they restore your FP or your HP. And then if you're in the beginning of the game and you're struggling to get your stats up, you can pop this on. As you can see, it's raising my stats quite a bit. My vigor, the endurance, the dexterity, strength. This is nice. This is nice to use because it will raise your stats if you're trying to meet a certain requirement on certain things. So you can kind of just work your way with these things. See what you like. Armor is whatever you can get away with. The heaviest and still do a medium roll is really, really good. But this mask here is optimal. If you want this mask, it raises your arcane by 8, which is really, really nice. I highly recommend this mask. It will really, really help. So let's go put these weapons into action so show you guys what they can do and how effective they can be. All right, let's go up here and bully some of these guys, these giants, kind of show you how effective some of these things can be. Like I said, I really like the double katanas for the beginning of the game. Even the bloody slash is really, really good. It's obviously not going to be the best, but in the beginning it's really effective. I mean, you could... He's mad. Obviously, my weapons are really, really high level right now. But these things are just really, really nice. Really nice animation. We can switch over. And let me show you the dual spears. I like these things. Oh my gosh. They're just so underrated as far as what they can do, how versatile they are. Getting in and out of situations with the Bloodhound step is just... It's just so nice. It's so nice. Alright, so this is a perfect example. I got this guy really mad at me. We can get in, stab, get out, get in, stab, get back out. Oh, the dual spears are so good. That's why I love these things. I mean, oh my gosh. They're so great. And like I said, they're situational. So against some bosses, they're not going to be effective. Against others, they are. So you can just sweep in, stab him at range, sweep back out. He's mad. Let's get him mad. Let's see what we can do with this. Get in. Get in, stab. Get back out. See what, I mean, especially against aggressive bosses. This is great against aggressive bosses. Alright, now let me demonstrate the Sepuku, and we're going to do the dual twin blades. And like I said, you can do, if you don't have the Godskin Peeler, you can run it on the basic twin blade with Eleanor in your hand. There's really no perfect way to do this, but I really like the Elenoras Poleblade in my right hand, like I said, all the way until late game. And you could put the Godskin Peeler in your left hand if you don't have it. You could use the regular twin blade, like I said. And the Sepuku is just, it's just so nuts to use this. And with the jump attacks, it's just so good with that jump attack talisman we have on there. So hold Y and hit L1. You'll put it in your left hand. You'll pop the Sepuku. Hit right on the D-pad to pull your other one out. You might have to do it twice. There you go. Now the jump attacks are what is just insane with this build. Look at that. Just... Immediately. I mean, like I said, we're over leveled, but still, just the blood loss is instantaneous. It's so awesome. Just instant. Instant. I love it. I feel like we're just being a little too mean and bullying these guys. Alright, on to the Rivers of Blood Katana. So we'll load these guys back up, do some more bullying. And before we get into the Rivers of Blood, let me just show you this Elenoras Poleblade. The only downside sometimes is shielded opponents. It's tough to get through their shields. But these guys are so low ranked, it might not be that bad. And the range you can cover on this. That animation right there alone is just makes this so good. To be able just to back pedal and get out of harm's way. So this guy, let's see. Oh, we missed him. Alright, hold on. Let's see if his shield will block it. No, they're not high enough yet. Just an awesome animation. I absolutely love that animation. So on to the very end, the Rivers of Blood, like I mentioned. It's just... It's almost too good. The Rivers of Blood Katana. Let's go bully some giants with it. Just insane. Alright, and now on to the incantations. So I can show you like Swarms of Blood and how effective this is. Swarm of Fly, sorry. And just the amount of blood loss these things cause are just so good. I mean, look at that. We're just going to kill him with these. He's dead. It's so good. The Swarm of Flies are amazing. And I can demonstrate some of the Dragon's Breath here. These are really good. I really like the Dragon's Breath. Not sure if it's enough to take one guy down, but the range is really good on these. And it'll obviously cause rot on him. Alright, it did take him out completely. So we could try one more dragon. Let's try the fire. You could jump and do these too. So you could jump and hit L1 if you got to get above some enemies. Well, that cooked him easy. Yeah, I have won so many boss fights just using the dragon incantations. It's honestly unbelievable. All right, so that is the build. That is what I recommend for the Arcane Dragon Blood Loss build. It's the most effective. Like I said, I beat the last boss using this setup here. Two-handing the Rivers of Blood Katana. And then, like I said, popping this Flame Grant Me Strength before I go into fights, or in the between being able to fight if I get the chance, popping that. And just that extra boost. Two-handing this thing and just going in. And obviously, if we want to cover, and I could share it really quick, is the Mimic Ash of War. I mentioned that's the best one in the game. I would recommend. It mimics who you are as a person. You have all the same spells, all the same actions, weapons, Rivers of Blood. It's overpowered. So a lot of the time, if I have bosses, I'll let them target the Mimic and then come in behind with the Rivers of Blood or with the Dragon Incantation. It's really, really effective. So if this video helped you out, let me know what you think in the comments. You're going to try the build. Are you using it and you're going to kind of adapt some of the build that I recommend? Let me know. I hope this video helped you out, and I hope you have the great rest of your day. Later.